We were just driving along, and Seb saw something small and spotted moving from one bush to the other, and look what we found. Yes, it's a bundle of joy, ladies and gentlemen, and she is rolling around in the wet grass, having a little bath, it seems. We don't see any sign of the mom anywhere, of Thandi. But look at that. Isn't she just too cute? And she is very close to the road. I can't even see her with my naked eyes. Seb spotted her with the camera, so I dare not move because we're in a really good position right now. And there she is. Thank you, Herbie, for directing us to this area. Took us better part of a minute after finding a branch he put down for us to indicate whereabouts we might find her. Yes, everyone is very excited, I know. I'm very excited. I haven't seen this little thing for a few days already. Bobby, yes, she is having a lot of fun. She's having a lot of fun. It's hard not to when you're a little cat. Don't worry, folks. This is what leopards do. They leave their cubs. She's obviously habituated to the vehicle. So she didn't, she moved initially when she saw us into cover. That's what Seb saw. But she's very camouflaged. If you pan right out, Seb, pan right out, we'll see if you can see her. Impossible to see if we pan out. Have a look, see if you can see that, folks. No ways, hey? So anything passing by, Seb just happened to see a movement which stopped on the road to try to figure out which direction Herbie was talking about. And there she was. So she moved because she heard our vehicle, but if any other threat came nearby, something that she is afraid of or something she's not too familiar with, a hyena, anything, she would disappear into that long grass, probably underneath a stump or a branch, and just completely go quiet until Mum returns. And that is the nature of it. That's how these cubs survive. She seems to have outgrown the stage of Mum physically finding dens for her, but she is moving her quite regularly, which is a good sign and very normal for little cubs. But she is our friend, and she has been habituated to the vehicle, so she's not afraid of our car. That's why she's behaving like she is very relaxed, because she is. But so don't worry, she is perfectly safe at the moment, and this is very natural behavior. And I was commenting the other day that not much happens in this area with regards to larger animal movements or predator movements, so I think this is quite a safe area from where she was compared to where she's been before. There's been lots of leopard and lion activity where she's been before, but we haven't had too much of that on this side of the reserve, of late, that I have seen anyway. A little bit further away from water, so probably an ideal spot for her to keep her cub. Just marvelous. So folks, we're going to stay here for a little while longer, see if Thandi manages to come back, and while we do so, we're going to go back over to Noel, who I believe is just driving. Okay folks, we have found her, and she's on something. We haven't quite identified what yet, so we're quite happy to stay now with the cub and with Mum, because she is right here. We're just going to keep very quiet. Just going to keep very quiet while she calms down. There she's feeding again. Typical temperamental Mum. We were just about to leave because we don't want to spend time with the cub when Mum's not around, but as we were driving away, once again, Seb's amazing visual just saw that tail flick. There she's calling her cub. She wants her cub to come to her. That wasn't aggression towards us. There she's going to reposition so we can see her nicely. Isn't she such an accommodating leopard? Good afternoon and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are with a female leopard. She is on some form of animal kill. We have not quite found out what yet, but not far away from her, she is with a 3-month-old baby cub. She'll come out soon, I'm sure, and welcome to Safari Live. My name is Steve Falconbridge, and I'm joined by Seb Rombi on camera, and we just came across this leopard. It was found this morning on foot by one of our colleagues, Herbie, who tracked it. We've come into the area. We're now viewing. Let's have a look at her. We haven't quite identified what she's feeding on there, but it looks like a baby waterbuck. I don't know if you can see the foot. Please feel free to post your questions below in comments. See if we can answer them for you. But this is a female leopard. Her name is Thandi. She's about 12 years of age, and she's a very successful leopard. She's got one cub at the moment who I'm sure will materialize. She was just here in the bushes a moment before. She is a wonderful little specimen to see. She's full of fun and joy, and this is live and this is wild. This is a fully wild leopard. There is nothing tame about her. She's just relaxed to vehicles because of very extensive work which goes into leopard habituation in the Sabi Sands. I wonder if any of you can tell me what that looks like. A baboon? No, it's not. There's a hoof. I wonder if any of you can tell me what you think that might be. It's either a warthog or a waterbuck by the color, but it's very hard to see. Oh, Helen, I also thought it looked like a baboon, but I definitely thought I saw a hoof there before. You saw a hoof, Seb? Yeah, that's a hoof there. So I've never seen a baboon with a hoof, but I thought the color, the pink that you see on the belly there, looks very baboon-like. Unless there's two animals here. If we can hear those bones crunching as she uses her carnassial shear, the side of the jaw, the teeth on the side that are designed for cutting and shearing through flesh and sinew. Michelle asks a question, why is the baby not coming to her? Well, she hasn't called it, and the baby's not actually feeding on too much meat at the moment. It's more reliant on milk, but she is here and she's around, and she'll probably come stalking up behind mum shortly, and she's probably had a feed, so she's not that hungry at the moment. But as soon as she wants milk, she'll come and bother her mother, who is enjoying her food and probably a little bit of peace and quiet from any suckling and attention that the cub gives her. The cub at this age is lots of fun and lots of energy, especially after feeding, and often likes to stalk mum's tail, which flicks around in the grass. But she's not far away. We had her before. We saw her before we came in here. Marcy, I know it sometimes is difficult to watch these things, but that animal is definitely dead. We apologize for any gruesome features you might see on the show, but this is wild. This is a wild leopard that is living off of the landscape. It's a hunter. It regulates the prey populations, often selecting the weak, often selecting the old or the infirm. It's a very natural selection, a natural process out here that predators feed. We don't feed them, and the animals and the prey animals build up their numbers in accordance. They are feeding on the vegetation at the same time as the predators are feeding on them. It is a natural balance, and it's not to worry about. But if it is too graphic for you, Dave asks, is she aware of the camera? She is a movie star, Dave. She's been on the camera many times, but she is very relaxed. There we go. That looks like a baby waterbuck, folks. It is indeed a baby waterbuck that she is now dragging. I can hear another vehicle approaching in the distance. We do have traversing rights with other vehicles here, so someone else is probably interested to come and show his guests what we have, because this is fantastic stuff. The Sabi Sands in South Africa is one of the best places in Africa to view leopards. See, now, what she's done is she's got a kill on the floor, and it's quite a small animal. But what leopards are specialists at is that hoist those animals so that they can avoid being stolen from them by hyena or lion. So I don't know what she heard, but there's definitely intention on her face. We had a broadcast just last week where she took a warthog just as we were talking about hyena, and she took it straight up a tree, and that was fantastic to see. And there are a few large trees around here, but she had it nicely just under a small bush, out of the watchful eyes of any vultures And now she's feeding again. There we go. The power that these leopards have. They can hoist an animal at least their own body weight, sometimes about 1.5 times their weight. And she weighs about 40 kilograms, which is only about just over 80 pounds. And she can take an 80-pound animal, probably a 90, 100-pound animal, up a tree in her mouth. Right up there with her claws, pound for pound, the strongest cat. Now we're going to come around, see if we can see her. Dale would like to know the size of leopards. Can they be compared to mountain lions? I don't know the weight of... I'm sorry about my engine. We will get it started shortly. I'm not too sure about the size of mountain lions. If you can tell me the weight, this female's about 80-odd pounds. But in the African kingdom, the strongest animal pound for pound. And they rely on their camouflage and their stalking ability to do what they do. I think mountain lions might be a little bit bigger. But I don't know. We will get it started. We're just having a bit of a fuel issue with this vehicle today, and I do apologize, folks. I do apologize for the noise. We have ordered the parts for the fuel filter or the fuel jet. We're just going to reposition, and maybe we're going to get her hoisting that. Lisa, that's a good question. Do leopards have a cave? They don't. Leopards do not have any form of shelter. When they have a cub, they might put the cub in a small den site, which could be a hole in the ground and a termite mound. It could be a fallen log with a little access, but they don't actually use anything themselves. They will sleep wherever they come across. They often can sleep in trees or in the shade of a tree. They don't have a place that they go to regularly unless they've got their cub there. Just going to see if we can find her again, folks. She just moved off over here towards that tall tree, and if it was my guess, I would guess she was going to try and hoist that baby waterbuck for her own good. Okay. 130 pounds for female mountain lion, folks. So, Jersey lady, thank you for that. That's a lot bigger than a female leopard. We have... I don't see her. Seb, do you see her? Sorry, folks. We've just lost her for a moment here. Just going to see if we can reposition a little bit. I apologize for that, but these cats are so camouflaged. It's impossible to see them sometimes, but still exciting. She's quite relaxed to the vehicle, so I don't think she's going to go too far. Yes, I didn't get the name of that person there, Kirst, but the answer to the question that I was asked, Sarah, do leopards hide their prey in trees? Yes, that is generally what they do to evade. There she is. She's just up there. She looks like she might be going exactly to do what Sarah's talking about. They will often hide their prey in trees to avoid competition with larger predators such as hyena and lion. Lion can climb trees, but they can't climb as well as leopards. Watch here, folks. She's going to go up the tree. There we go. Just missed the... Just had the focus out there for a moment, but there she goes. She's up the tree. That's what they do. Who knows what she sensed in the distance, but she figures it's time now that she's fed a bit on that waterbuck to now take it up the tree, because that will save it up there. Hyenas will not be able to get it. Lions, where she is, would be able to get it. They're not the best climbers, but they are okay for going up, but not really for going down. But folks, that's it for us. If you'd like to follow us some more, please Google Safari Live and you can follow the rest of the show. We're going to still be out here for another half an hour or so. And thank you very much and good night. So back with you folks. We're going to, Seb, would you like me to reposition?
If you want, you can try and go closer, yeah.
Okay. I don't know about my engine. Folks, we're going to reposition, and we're glad that you're still with us. And we're going to try and get a nice visual of Thandi, and maybe the cub will come out again. And while we do so, we're going to go back to Noel, and we'll see you soon. Yes, she has, folks, and if you just look at her face, she's busy calling the cub. She's looking longingly in the distance for where she left her. She's now making those little cat calls that she does when she calls the cub. Now that the kill is securely hoisted in this wonderful marula tree, as Osana did yesterday, here's a very picturesque shot. Have a look at this. Look at that. Isn't she such a movie star? So to answer the questions that were coming up before, most definitely leopards like to hoist their prey. This is one of their specialities. It enables them to feed when they want to. You can see her belly is quite full. There we go. That is a typical leopard in the tree Sabi Sands photograph, if you've ever seen one before. What a beautiful queen she is. Very blessed to have her on the reserve, and well done to Herbie, who came out after drive this morning and tracked her and found where she was. Made our life very easy this afternoon, because it would have taken us a bit of time. She's moved away from the position where he last had her. I don't think we would have found her here. Seb, what do you think? No. Jeff would like to know if the cub could climb up there, and I don't think it's quite big enough yet to climb up there. I mean, I think it would be able to get up, but it would have a really difficult time getting down. It's practicing on much smaller trees at the moment, and not on these big marula trees. I mean, that marula tree, she's probably about 25 feet in the air right now, which would quite a big drop for a small little cat. I mean, if Thandi decides to come down now, you'll see what an effort it is to come down. Not only do they have to use their claws in descending, but there's a bit of a jump at the bottom to get down to the bottom. So I don't think the cub would get up there, but the cub is perfectly safe where she is. Mum's keeping quite a watchful eye out, and she's always listening. And the cub's natural defenses when it hears any sort of danger is to just disappear into the undergrowth. Look at those feet. Isn't she just relaxed? You can see she's also quite wet, so I think she's quite enjoying being up in this marula tree, which would probably be a bit drier than the grass that she was sitting in. And we wonder how long ago she killed that baby waterbuck, and where she killed it, because as we know, folks, we've been seeing Thandi with kills all the time near her baby, and she seems to be killing small animals and then taking them all the way back to where she has been, which is quite something. Quite something. I mean, she's definitely been feeding for a while by the size of her belly. Look at that. Christmas dinner. So I'm sure you're all taking your screenshots. Such a different face, isn't it, to that of Hosana? I'm really starting to see the differences in these leopards now. As I was saying last night, I saw Shadow and her youngster, and I'm starting to see the differences. There we go, she's calling again. She's not too interested in calling too much. She knows the cub is safe and it's not far away. She's probably a bit tired. She probably had quite a busy morning trying to hunt that waterbuck. But it was a very small youngster. Wonder if you can get another view of that animal up there, Seb. See if we can see any size of it. It definitely looked the waterbuck. Not very clear. Not very. It's on the right there. Scarlett would like to know how far the cub is away, and I mean, we've driven probably about 50-60 meters from where we were previously parked, and that's not very far in leopard terms, but it is quite open here. It's not very thick, but there are little clumps of bushes around. There are clumps of bushes around, so it's not far, but she's staring in the direction of her cub. She's wondering what that little bundle of joy is up to, I'm sure, but probably as it gets a little bit darker, she'll go back and make sure that she is okay. But right now, I think she's enjoying the dryness of the branch. Yes. Sahara, you say it's very smart that she's taking all sorts of small prey in various varieties. You know, I don't know if it's smart or if it's just the way it is. You know, this time of year with lots of baby animals, it's when your predators, they make the most of it. Baby animals are a lot easier to catch than adults. And so this is the time of year your predators need to bulk up. She's breeding as well, so she needs to have enough strength to provide the milk for her growing cub. And in the next coming months, she's going to be able to provide the meat as well for that cub, because that cub's not going to be hunting for quite a while still. So the smart thing indeed is the small animal she catches, she can hoist up a tree. That makes it easier. So less effort to carry, but a larger animal would sustain her for a longer period of time. So protein in versus energy. At the moment, it is important for them to catch what they can. Yes, she does, Sky. She does have her motherhood strategies well figured out. Some people working, I think Tristan told me she reckons this is going to be the last litter that she has. I don't know, but she's only got one cub at the moment. So, but I mean, she seems to be doing quite well. We just got another vehicle joining us, folks. So just excuse me if I quickly talk to them on the radio. Yes, I've just got her up in the marula tree here on my right-hand side. So if you want to position anywhere, the kill is in the tree with her as well. Okay, so we've got one of the landowners from the north, from Chakana, coming in to join just in time as we approach the end of our show. Hasn't been the hardest job for us today because the rain kept us away for quite a bit, but I think we've managed to do quite a bit in the hour or so that we've been out on drive. We've seen some very wet raptors, vultures, and Wahlberg's eagles. But let's have a few more moments with the beautiful queen up here. The vehicle's pulling in. Hey, just pulling into a nice position. And so, folks, from myself and Seb Rombi and the team back at FC, those up in the Mara, we'd like to thank you, the viewers, for your comments and questions. We'd like to thank Mama Africa for the rain that we've got, and for Thandi for showing herself that beautiful bundle of joy. Please feel free to join us tomorrow morning live on Safari Live. We'll see you there. I'll be walking. Have a fantastic evening, and until then, good night.